The massive space station floated silently in the void between three star systems. Nexus Prime was bigger than most moons and served as the meeting place for the Galactic Council. Today, the station buzzed with fear and panic. Representatives from 12 different alien species had gathered for an emergency meeting that could decide the fate of the galaxy. Admiral Veltar stood at the center of the Great Council chamber. His four arms moved nervously as he prepared to show the assembled leaders something that would change everything. The hegemony officer had seen many battles in his long career, but nothing had prepared him for what he discovered in the Outer Rim territories. The council chamber fell silent as Veltar activated the holographic display. The air shimmered, and suddenly the room filled with images of war. Explosions lit up burning cities while strange armored figures moved through the chaos with deadly purpose. The footage was grainy and shook constantly as whoever recorded it tried to stay hidden. Council member Zixara of the collective leaned forward in her floating chair. Her three eyes focused on the brutal scenes playing out before them. She had never seen warfare like this before. The armored beings in the footage moved without fear through weapon fire that should have killed them instantly. They seemed to ignore pain and injury as they advanced on their enemies. "What are these creatures?" asked Nexrin from the trade union. His voice carried the fear that every council member felt. Veltar paused the footage on an image of a tall, armored figure standing over fallen enemies. "We call them humans. They appeared in our outer territories 6 months ago. Since then, they have destroyed 17 colonies and 3 military outposts." The council chamber erupted in shocked whispers. 17 colonies meant millions of lives lost. The image showed the human warrior holding a weapon that seemed to burn with inner fire. Even through the poor-quality footage, they could see that this being felt no mercy for its victims. "Observe their combat abilities," Veltar continued as he resumed the playback. The footage showed humans leaping impossible distances and surviving, direct hits from plasma weapons. One scene showed a human lifting a piece of machinery that should have required 3 strong aliens to move. Defender Prime Cax Ilon of the military caste studied the images with his tactical mind. They fight without formation or strategy, yet they win every engagement. How is this possible? "We believe they possess enhanced physical capabilities far beyond any known species," Veltar replied. "Their armor appears to be some form of powered exoskeleton that amplifies their natural strength." The footage shifted to show humans entering a damaged building. The quality was better here, and the council could see more details. The humans moved through the structure with purpose, while explosions continued outside. Whatever they were doing, inside the building remained unclear, but their determination was obvious. Zixara noticed something troubling. "Admiral, in this section they appear to be carrying something. Are those weapons?" Veltar enhanced the image as much as possible. "Our analysts believe so. The devices they carry seem capable of cutting through our strongest armor plating." More footage played showing humans operating strange vehicles that moved through terrain no normal transport could navigate. The machines seemed to be extensions of their operators as they performed impossible maneuvers while under heavy fire. "Where did you obtain this footage?" asked Trade Representative Yildana. Her species valued information above all else, and she wanted to understand the source. "Intercepted transmissions from colonies under attack," Veltar explained. "Most came from emergency broadcasts sent in the final moments before the settlements fell." The room grew colder as the implications sank in. These humans were not just powerful warriors, but ruthless conquerors who left no survivors to tell their story. Only scattered transmissions remained as evidence of their passage through the Outer Rim. The footage continued with scenes that made even veteran military officers look away. Humans advanced through defensive positions that should have held against any assault. Their weapons seemed to ignore energy shields, and their armor turned aside the most powerful attacks the defenders could manage. "Have any survived contact with these humans?" asked Medical Chief Zorante. As a healer, she hoped someone could provide information about human weaknesses. "Very few," Veltar admitted. "Those who escaped speak of beings who feel no pain and know no fear. They describe warriors who continue fighting even after suffering wounds that would kill any of us." More images flashed across the display, showing humans in different environments. They seemed equally comfortable in Arctic cold and desert heat. Some footage showed them operating in the vacuum of space with only minimal protection, while their enemies required full environmental suits. The final segment of footage was the most disturbing. It showed humans after a battle standing among the ruins of what had been a thriving colony. They moved through the destruction with casual indifference as if the lives they had taken meant nothing to them. "The pattern is always the same," Veltar explained as the display went dark. "They appear without warning and attack with overwhelming force. No negotiation is attempted. No quarter is given. They take what they want and leave nothing behind." Council leader Thexami raised his authority staff to call for order as worried conversations broke out across the chamber. "What do we know about their numbers and technology?" "Very little," Veltar admitted. "They seem to have ships that can avoid our sensors. Their technology is unlike anything in our databases. Most disturbing is that they appear to be expanding their territory in our direction." The weight of this revelation settled over the council like a heavy blanket. These humans were not just another species seeking trade or territory. They were an existential threat to everything the galactic civilization had built over thousands of years. "What do you recommend?" asked Zixara, though she already suspected the answer. "Full mobilization of all military assets," Veltar replied without hesitation. "We must stop them before they reach the core systems. Every day we delay gives them time to grow stronger." Thousands of light years away, Captain Daeho Kim stood on the bridge of the human colony ship New Sol watching the stars through the main viewport. His ship carried 20,000 colonists seeking new homes among the distant stars. Most were families fleeing the overcrowded conditions of Earth and its older colonies. Lieutenant Jiwoo Park approached him with a data pad showing the latest communications from Earth Command. Her young face carried worry as she handed him the report. "Captain, we are receiving some strange signals from the outer systems," she said. "Long-range sensors show massive fleet movements, but we cannot identify the ships." Daeho read the report with growing concern. The movements suggested military formations much larger than anything human forces could field. "Any response to our communication attempts?" "Nothing, sir," Jiwoo replied. "The signals are encrypted using methods our computers cannot decode." In his quarters aboard New Sol, Dr. So-Young Lee worked late into the night, studying xenobiology reports from the frontier colonies. As the ship's specialist in alien life forms, she hoped to make first contact with whatever intelligent species they might encounter. The reports from the Outer Rim were puzzling. Several colonies had reported strange encounters with unknown vessels, but the details were always vague. Some colonists claimed to have seen massive ships in the distance, while others reported finding abandoned alien equipment. So-Young found it strange that no actual contact had been established. Humanity had been expanding into space for generations, but had never encountered another intelligent species. The discovery of alien technology should have been the biggest news in human history. She made notes about the need for better communication protocols when first contact finally occurred. The last thing humanity needed was a misunderstanding that could lead to conflict with an advanced alien civilization. Captain Daeho Kim received another report from his communications officer about the mysterious fleet movements. The alien ships seemed to be gathering in force somewhere beyond human space. Their purpose remained unknown, but the concentration of vessels suggested something significant was about to happen. Dr. So-Young Lee sat in her laboratory aboard the colony ship New Sol, surrounded by alien communication equipment her team had managed to intercept. The strange signals had been growing stronger for days, and she finally managed to capture some intact transmissions. Her assistant Hyunwoo Chang worked beside her, trying to decode the complex patterns hidden in the alien broadcasts. "The emotional resonance in these signals is incredible," So-Young told Captain Daeho Kim over the communication system. "Whatever species is sending these messages, they are experiencing extreme fear." She played back a section of intercepted audio that had been processed through their translation computers. The mechanical voice that emerged spoke of terror and desperation, though many words remained unclear. "They keep mentioning something they call demons or destroyers," Hyunwoo added as he adjusted the frequency filters. "The fear levels suggest they believe they face complete extinction." Captain Kim listened to the reports from his command chair on the bridge. The alien transmissions painted a picture of a species under attack by some terrible enemy. His human Instincts made him want to help, but he had no idea how to make contact with beings who seemed to live in constant terror. "Can we determine their location?" Kim asked his communications team. Lieutenant Ji-Woo Park checked her sensor displays before responding. "The signals originate from multiple star systems in our general direction of travel. Whatever is happening, out there covers a huge area of space." Meanwhile, in the alien fleet gathering at the edge of known space, Commander Veltar addressed his senior officers in the war room of his flagship. The massive vessel carried enough firepower to destroy entire star systems, but even that might not be enough against the human threat. "Intelligence reports indicate these humans possess combat abilities beyond our understanding," Veltar explained to his gathered commanders. "They appear to shrug off weapon fire that would vaporize our strongest warriors." The holographic display showed enhanced images from the battle footage. Computer analysis had identified several disturbing details about human capabilities. Their armor seemed to absorb energy weapons, while their own weapons cut through alien defenses like they were made of paper. "How do they move so quickly?" asked Fleet Commander Naxilon. "Our analysis shows them covering impossible distances in seconds." "Unknown," Veltar replied grimly. "Our scientists believe they may have developed some form of personal teleportation technology or perhaps time dilation fields." The truth was far simpler, but the aliens had no way of understanding it. The humans in the footage had been wearing powered armor suits designed for industrial work and emergency rescue operations. The suits amplified human strength and speed to help workers handle dangerous situations in space construction projects. Back on New Seoul, Mechanic Tai-Min Choi finished his daily maintenance check on the ship's complement of work suits. These industrial exoskeletons were standard equipment on all colony ships to help settlers build their new homes quickly and safely. "The new armor systems are performing perfectly," Tai-Min reported to his supervisor, Sergeant Mina Kim. Response: "Time is down to 0.3 seconds, and the impact dispersal system can handle anything short of a direct antimatter explosion." Mina nodded approvingly as she reviewed his maintenance logs. The powered suits had saved countless lives over the years by protecting workers from industrial accidents and equipment failures. She never imagined that these same suits would one day be mistaken for military technology by aliens who had never seen such devices. "Make sure all suits are ready for deployment when we reach the colony site," Mina instructed. "The colonists will need them to construct the initial habitation domes." In the alien fleet, scientific advisor Zorante studied biological samples recovered from human attack sites. The genetic material told a disturbing story about creatures that seemed designed for warfare and destruction. Their cellular structure suggests enhanced healing capabilities, Zorante reported to Admiral Veltar. "They may be able to survive injuries that would be fatal to any known species." "What about their psychological profile?" Veltar asked. "The behavioral patterns suggest a species with no fear response and minimal pain sensitivity," Zorante replied. "They appear to view combat as their natural state." The aliens were interpreting normal human adrenaline responses and endorphin production as evidence of supernatural combat abilities. They had no understanding of how human biochemistry worked during high-stress situations. Engineer Woo-Jin Park discovered something troubling while monitoring the sensor arrays aboard New Seoul. The massive energy signatures they had been tracking were growing stronger and appeared to be organized in military formations. "Captain," Woo-Jin called Kim over the intercom, "I am reading multiple fleet concentrations approaching our general area. The energy output suggests hundreds of vessels, sir." Kim felt a chill as he realized what this might mean. "Are they heading for the colony sites?" "It appears so, sir," Woo-Jin confirmed. "Based on their current course and speed, they will reach the Kepler system in approximately 72 hours. The Kepler system contained New Hope Colony, where 50,000 human settlers had been building their new home for the past 2 years. The colonists included families with children who had left Earth seeking a better life among the stars. Kim immediately ordered all communication channels opened to send warnings to the colonial authorities. Whatever was coming their way, the settlers needed time to prepare defenses or evacuate if necessary. In the alien war room, Tactical Officer Kixanan presented the latest intelligence about human fleet movements. The data painted a picture of an enemy that seemed to be everywhere at once while remaining nearly invisible to their sensors. "The humans appear to have mastered stealth technology beyond our capabilities," Kixanan reported. "We can detect energy, signatures but cannot get clear visual confirmation of their vessels. How many ships do they have? Demanded Admiral Veltar. Unknown, sir, Kixanan admitted. The signatures suggest anywhere from dozens to thousands depending on how their technology works. The reality was that human ships used different energy systems than alien vessels, making their sensor readings confusing and misleading. A single human colony ship might register as multiple contacts, while their actual warships remained completely undetected. Dr. So-Young Lee made a breakthrough in her translation work when she realized the alien languages used emotional harmonics as part of their communication system. By analyzing the fear patterns in their transmissions, she could understand more of their meaning. Captain, they are preparing for what they call the final battle, So-Young reported urgently. They believe something called the human swarm is coming to destroy their entire civilization. Human swarm? Kim repeated in confusion. What could they possibly mean by that? So-Young played back a translated section of alien communication. The mechanical voice spoke of unstoppable human warriors advancing through space like a plague, consuming everything in their path. They seem to think we are some kind of hive mind species dedicated to conquest and destruction, So-Young explained. Their fear levels suggest they would rather destroy themselves than face capture by humans. The misunderstanding was growing, worse by the hour as both sides prepared for a conflict based on completely wrong assumptions. The aliens saw humans as demonic invaders, while humans remained unaware that an entire galactic civilization considered them an existential threat. Sergeant Mina Kim supervised the final preparations of the worksuits as New Seoul approached its destination. The colonists would need the powered armor to build shelters quickly in case the approaching alien fleets proved hostile. Make sure everyone knows how to operate the emergency functions, Mina instructed her team. If we come under attack, these suits might be the only thing standing between the colonists and death. She had no way of knowing that these same protective suits were already being studied by alien intelligence as evidence of human superhuman abilities. Every safety feature designed to protect workers was being interpreted as a military advantage that made humans nearly impossible to kill. The stage was set for the most tragic first contact in galactic history as two civilizations raced toward a confrontation that neither side wanted or understood. The alien armada dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler system like a swarm of angry metal wasps. Admiral Veltar stood on the bridge of his flagship watching the tactical displays as hundreds of warships took their positions. This was the largest military force the Galactic Council had assembled in over 1,000 years. Target acquisition complete, reported Tactical Officer Kixanan from his station. We have located the human fleet. Veltar studied the display, showing a small cluster of ships orbiting the fourth planet. The human vessels appeared to be civilian, transports and colony ships with minimal defensive capabilities. This seemed wrong somehow based on everything they knew about human military might. Are you certain these are the same creatures from the battle footage? Veltar asked his intelligence officer. Genetic scans confirm human life signs aboard all vessels, came the reply. Energy signatures match those detected at previous attack. Sites. What the aliens could not understand was that they were looking at peaceful colonists and their families. The ships contained farmers and engineers and teachers who had traveled across the galaxy seeking new homes for their children. These were not the warriors from the alien footage, but ordinary people trying to build better lives. Aboard the colony ship New Seoul, Captain Dae-Ho Kim stared at his sensor displays in shock. The readings showed more alien vessels than he had ever imagined could exist. The fleet surrounding his small convoy possessed enough firepower to turn entire planets into dust. Communications officer report, Kim ordered, as he tried to make sense of the situation. Lieutenant Jiwoo Park worked frantically at her station, attempting to establish contact with the massive alien force. I am receiving what appears to be a surrender demand, sir. The translation software is having difficulty, but they seem to be calling us bloodthirsty demons. Demons? Kim repeated in confusion. Why would they think we are demons? The translation computers continued working on the alien messages, revealing more disturbing details. The aliens seemed convinced that humans were some kind of supernatural threat that had to be destroyed to save their civilization. Send a response, Kim ordered. Tell them we are peaceful colonists. Make it clear that we mean no harm to anyone. Jiwoo transmitted the message using every communication frequency and protocol in their databases. The response was carefully worded to express human peaceful intentions and desire for diplomatic contact. On the alien flagship, the human message was received and processed through their own translation systems. The result was a garbled transmission that their computers interpreted as a battle cry, filled with threats and promises of destruction. "They mock our fears," snarled Commander Naxilon as he read the translated message. "They call themselves peaceful while preparing to slaughter us all." Admiral Veltar felt his heart sink as he realized negotiations were impossible. The humans were clearly the monsters from the intelligence reports, and they would show no mercy to anyone who opposed them. "All ships prepare for attack," Veltar ordered reluctantly. "We must strike before they can deploy their superweapons." The alien fleet opened fire with enough concentrated energy to vaporize a small moon. Plasma beams and particle weapons struck the human ships from every angle in a devastating display of overwhelming force. Captain Kim watched in amazement as the energy weapons splashed harmlessly against his ship's hull plating. New Sol had been built for long-term deep space travel, which meant protection against cosmic radiation and meteor impacts. The same shielding that protected colonists from space hazards also deflected alien weapons. "Damage report," Kim called, to his engineering station. "Minimal impact, sir," replied Engineer Woo Jin Park. "Their weapons are not penetrating our radiation shielding. Hull temperature is rising, but we are well within safe parameters." The aliens stared in horror as their most powerful weapons failed to damage the human ships. This confirmed their worst fears about human defensive capabilities. These creatures possessed technology that made them nearly invulnerable to conventional attack. "Increase power to maximum," Admiral Veltar ordered desperately. "Focus all fire on a single target." The concentrated firepower of the entire fleet struck New Sol like the fury of an angry star. The colony ship shuddered under the massive energy discharge but continued to function normally. Her hull plating glowed white-hot but held firm against the assault. Corporal Junho Bei was piloting a maintenance shuttle when the attack began. His small craft had been performing routine cargo transfers between the colony ships when it suddenly found itself in the middle of a space battle. "Control, this is Shuttle 7, Junho radioed frantically. "I am caught between the fleets, requesting emergency docking clearance." "Negative, Shuttle 7, came the reply. "All docking bays are sealed due to combat conditions. You will have to ride it out." Junho found himself flying directly toward an alien destroyer that was firing on the colony ships. His shuttle was equipped with an industrial cutting beam designed for asteroid mining and salvage operations. In desperation, he activated the device, hoping it might create enough of a distraction to let him escape. The mining beam struck the alien ship's energy shields with unexpected results. Instead of being deflected like the alien weapons, the industrial cutter sliced through the protective barrier as if it did not exist. The beam continued into the destroyer's hull, cutting a massive gash through the armor plating. What just happened? Junho asked himself as the alien ship began venting atmosphere and debris. The destroyer lost power and began drifting helplessly as its crew evacuated in escape pods. Junho stared at his shuttle's cutting beam in amazement, unable to believe that mining equipment had just destroyed a military warship. Across the battle zone, similar scenes played out as human civilian equipment proved devastatingly effective against alien military technology. Construction mechs designed for building colonies punched through warship armor, while cargo haulers rammed through defensive formations that should have been impenetrable. The aliens watched in growing terror as their greatest fleet was torn apart by what appeared to be human civilian vessels. If these were not even military ships, what would happen when the real human war fleet arrived? "Sir, we are reading massive structural damage across the fleet," reported Tactical Officer Kixanan. "Multiple ships are requesting permission to withdraw." Admiral Veltar could hardly believe what he was seeing. The human ships continued their attacks with cold efficiency while his own forces crumbled under the assault. Every intelligence report had been correct about human capabilities, but had failed to capture the true scope of their technological advantage. Dr. So-Young Lee finally managed to decode enough alien transmissions to understand what was happening. The aliens genuinely believed they were under attack by demonic invaders and were fighting for the survival of their entire species. "Captain, they think we are trying to destroy their civilization," So-Young reported urgently. "This is not an invasion force. This is a desperate last stand." Captain Kim realized they were caught in a terrible misunderstanding that was spiraling out of control. The aliens were not evil conquerors, but terrified beings fighting what they believed was a war of extinction. "Cease all offensive actions," Kim ordered. "All ships stand down immediately." But the damage was already spreading beyond the battle zone. Emergency transmissions from both human and alien territories carried news of the engagement to their respective governments. Each side reported that the other had launched an unprovoked attack. On Earth, the Colonial Defense Command received reports that alien forces had ambushed a peaceful colony convoy. The attack had been beaten off, but the threat was clear. Humanity faced an enemy with overwhelming numerical superiority. "Mobilize the entire fleet," ordered Admiral Chen from Earth Command. "Every ship we have must be deployed to protect our colonies." In alien space, similar commands were being issued as the Galactic Council learned of the human attack on their rescue fleet. The monsters had revealed their true nature by destroying ships that had come to negotiate peace. "This confirms our worst fears," declared Council Leader Thexami. "The humans cannot be reasoned with. They must be stopped before they reach our core worlds." Within hours, the largest military mobilization in galactic history was underway, as both civilizations prepared for total war. Thousands of ships began moving toward the frontier systems, where humans and aliens would meet in what promised to be the most destructive conflict ever fought. Captain Kim watched the alien fleet withdraw, while his own damaged ships limped toward the colony world. He had prevented a massacre, but in doing so had triggered something far worse. The misunderstanding that began with mistranslated footage was about to become an interstellar war that could destroy both species. "Sir, I am receiving priority transmissions from Earth Command," Lieutenant Jiwoo Park reported grimly. "The entire colonial fleet is being deployed to our sector." Kim closed his eyes, knowing that first contact between humans and the galactic community was about to become the bloodiest chapter in the history of both civilizations. 3 days after the battle in the Kepler system, both human and alien forces were mobilizing for total war. On New Sol, Dr. So-Young Lee worked around the clock to decode more alien transmissions, while her translation computers processed terabytes of intercepted data. What she discovered made her blood run cold. "Captain Kim, you need to see this immediately," So-Young called urgently over the ship's communication system. Captain Daeho Kim arrived in her laboratory to find holographic displays showing familiar scenes from an alien perspective. The footage was grainy and distorted, but he recognized the locations immediately. "That is Titan Colony," Kim said, pointing at one of the displays. "But why do the aliens have recordings of our settlements?" So-Young activated another display showing more footage from the same location. This time, the perspective was clearly from someone hiding and watching human peacekeepers responding to an emergency situation. "They were not attacking Titan Colony," So-Young explained with growing horror. "They were recording our people during the pirate raids last year." Kim watched the footage with dawning understanding as he saw Sergeant Mina Kim's security team defending the colony from raiders. The powered armor suits that protected his people from enemy fire looked terrifying when viewed through alien eyes. "They think we are monsters," Kim whispered, as more footage played, showing human rescue operations and medical evacuations. The alien recordings showed every act of human heroism and compassion twisted into evidence of supernatural evil. Rescue workers pulling survivors from burning buildings became demons dragging away victims. Medical teams treating the wounded looked like predators feeding on their prey. "Sir, there is more," So-Young said grimly as she activated additional displays. These transmissions contained detailed intelligence reports about human capabilities and intentions. Kim read the translated alien assessments of human technology and psychology. According to their analysts, humans were a species of unstoppable killing machines who felt no pain and knew no fear. Their industrial equipment was classified as advanced military hardware, while their peaceful intentions were interpreted as deceptive battle tactics. "They are not evil," Kim realized. "They are terrified." Meanwhile, on the alien flagship, Admiral Veltar received his own disturbing intelligence reports. His tactical officer, Kixanen, had made a discovery that changed everything they thought. They knew about the human threat. "Sir, I have been analyzing the human ship configurations from our recent engagement," Kixanen reported nervously. "The vessels we fought were not military ships." "What do you mean?" Veltar demanded. Kixanan displayed technical specifications recovered from the battle zone. The human ships showed clear signs of civilian construction with modifications for long-term space travel and colonization support. These are transport vessels, sir, Kixanan explained, built to carry families and supplies to new settlements. The weapons systems we encountered were industrial tools adapted for mining and construction. Veltar stared at the data in growing horror as he understood the implications. If the ships his fleet had attacked were civilian transports, then the humans aboard were not warriors but ordinary families trying to build new homes. Sir, there is something else, Tactical Officer Nix Ara added hesitantly. I have been reviewing the footage we used to justify this operation. The main display activated showing the original battle recordings that had convinced the Galactic Council to mobilize against humanity. But now, Nixara enhanced different sections of the footage revealing details that had been missed before. Look, at this section where the humans enter the damaged structure, Nixara said. Computer enhancement shows they are carrying medical supplies and rescue equipment. Veltar watched as the computer analysis revealed the truth behind the footage. The humans were not attacking the building but responding to an emergency. Their weapons were cutting tools being used to clear debris and reach trapped survivors. They were not conquering, Veltar said slowly. They were rescuing. More enhanced footage played showing human peacekeepers defending alien civilian populations from raiders and criminals. The supernatural combat abilities that had terrified the Galactic Council were actually rescue workers using industrial equipment to save lives under dangerous conditions. Sir, we have made a terrible mistake, Nixara reported grimly. The humans in this footage are not invaders. They are humanitarian workers protecting our own people. The revelation hit the alien command crew like a physical blow. They had initiated hostilities against a species that had been trying to help them. The demons from their nightmares were actually heroes whose only crime was looking frightening while doing good deeds. Back on New Sol, engineer Taemin Choi was monitoring communications. When he detected massive energy signatures approaching the system, his sensors showed hyperspace distortions, consistent with large fleet movements from multiple directions. Captain, we have a problem, Taemin reported over the intercom. I am reading massive fleet movements converging on our position. Multiple signatures from both human and alien territories. Kim rushed to the bridge where Lieutenant Ji-Woo Park was already coordinating with the other colony ships. The sensor displays showed the approaching fleets in terrifying detail. Sir, Earth Command is sending everything they have, Ji-Woo reported. Admiral Chen is personally leading the Colonial Defense Fleet with orders to eliminate the alien threat. How long until they arrive? Kim asked, dreading the answer. Approximately 6 hours, sir, Ji-Woo replied. The alien fleet will arrive at roughly the same time. Kim realized they were about to witness the opening battle of an interstellar war based on a tragic misunderstanding. Two civilizations that should have been friends were racing toward mutual destruction because of fear and miscommunication. Dr. So-Young Lee continued decoding alien transmissions, hoping to find some way to prevent the coming disaster. The messages she intercepted painted a picture of an entire galactic civilization mobilizing for what they believed was a fight for survival. They are calling this the final war, So-Young reported to Kim. Every species in the galactic community is contributing ships and personnel. They think humanity represents an existential threat to all intelligent life. Kim felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. Somehow he had to find a way to stop thousands of warships from destroying each other over a misunderstanding that should never have happened. Can we contact both fleets simultaneously? Kim asked his communications team. The translation problems remain severe, Ji-Woo replied. Any message we send will likely be misinterpreted by both sides. On the alien flagship, Admiral Veltar faced a similar dilemma. He now knew the truth about human intentions, but his own fleet was already committed to battle. The Galactic Council's forces were racing toward what they believed was humanity's main battle fleet. Sir, I recommend we attempt to contact the human vessels directly, suggested his communications officer. Perhaps we can negotiate a ceasefire before the main fleets arrive? With what authority? Veltar replied bitterly. The Council has ordered the complete elimination of the human threat. They will not listen to reports about misunderstandings and translation errors. Both commanders realized they were trapped by the momentum of their own civilization's fear and anger. Even if they could prove the whole conflict was based on mistakes, too many people now believed the war was necessary for survival. The approaching fleets carried not just weapons, but the hopes and fears of entire worlds. Human colonies expected protection from alien aggression, while alien planets demanded vengeance for unprovoked attacks. Neither side would accept that their enemies might actually be friends. Engineer Woojin Park detected the first hyperspace signatures as advanced scouts from both fleets arrived in the system. The small ships immediately began tactical scanning and target identification procedures. "Sir, we are being painted by targeting sensors," Woojin reported. "Both human and alien vessels are treating us as hostile contacts." Kim understood that his colony ships were about to become the focal point of a battle between two massive fleets. The irony was overwhelming. The same ships that had been mistaken for a military threat would now be caught in the crossfire between civilizations that thought they were fighting for their survival. "All ships prepare for emergency jump to hyperspace," Kim ordered. "We need to get the colonists away from here before the shooting starts." But even as he gave the order, Kim knew it was too late. The approaching fleets would interpret any movement as either retreat or an attempt to flank their positions. There was no way to avoid becoming part of the coming battle. Dr. So-Young Lee made one final attempt to decode the alien command frequencies, hoping to find someone who might listen to reason. What she discovered was that Admiral Veltar had been sending increasingly desperate messages to his superiors, trying to explain the misunderstanding. "Captain, the alien fleet commander knows the truth," So-Young reported. "He has been trying to convince his government that we are not enemies." "Are they listening?" Kim asked. So-Young shook her head sadly. "His own people think he has been compromised. By human psychological warfare, they are ordering him to attack or be replaced by someone who will." The first hyperspace signatures appeared at the edge of the Kepler system like ripples in the fabric of space itself. Admiral Veltar watched from his flagship as both human and alien fleets began materializing in perfect battle formations. Within minutes, the space around the colony world would become the largest battlefield in galactic history. Captain Daeho Kim made a decision that would either save two civilizations or get him court-martialed for treason. Against all military protocol and common sense, he launched a small diplomatic shuttle directly toward the alien flagship, flying under a white flag of truce. "Sir, this is completely insane," protested Lieutenant Jiwoo Park as she watched Kim prepare for departure. "You are flying into the middle of a hostile fleet that just tried to kill us. It is the only way to prevent a war that will destroy both our species," Kim replied grimly as he sealed his environmental suit. "Dr. So-Young and communications specialist Min-Seo Park will accompany me." The shuttle New Hope detached from New Seoul and began its desperate journey through the expanding battle zone. Behind them, the human colonial defense fleet dropped out of hyperspace in massive formations, stretching across thousands of kilometers of space. Admiral Chen, aboard the human flagship Earth's Pride, surveyed the tactical situation with grim satisfaction. The alien fleet was exactly where intelligence had predicted, and his forces held every advantage. The surprise attack on the colony convoy would not go unpunished. "All ships prepare for engagement," Chen ordered. "Target their command vessels first." At the same time, Admiral Veltar received similar orders from the Galactic Council Fleet Command. His forces were to eliminate the human threat, regardless of any personal doubts he might have about their true nature. "Sir, I am detecting a small human craft approaching under diplomatic protocols," reported Tactical Officer Kixanon. "They appear to be requesting permission to come aboard." Veltar stared at the tactical display showing the tiny shuttle flying between fleets that could vaporize it without effort. The courage required for such an act was either admirable or completely insane. "Admiral, you cannot seriously consider allowing humans aboard this vessel," protested Commander Naxilon. "They could be carrying biological weapons or suicide devices. Or they could be trying to prevent the greatest tragedy in galactic history," Veltar replied quietly. "Grant them docking clearance." The shuttle New Hope entered the alien flagship's docking bay under the suspicious watch of heavily armed security guards. Captain Kim emerged from his craft, followed by Dr. So-Young Lee and communications specialist Min-Seo Park, who looked terrified but determined. Admiral Veltar met them in the docking bay, flanked by his senior officers. The first face-to-face meeting between humans and the galactic community should have been a moment of celebration. Instead, it took place under the shadow of approaching annihilation. "You are the demons from our intelligence reports?" Veltar asked, studying Kim's ordinary human features. Kim nearly smiled at the absurdity of being called a demon. "I believe there has been a terrible misunderstanding, Admiral. My name is Captain Daeho Kim of the human colony ship New Seoul. Dr. So-Young Lee activated a portable holographic projector and began displaying the same footage that had convinced the Galactic Council to wage war against humanity. But now she showed it from the human perspective with proper context and translation. Admiral, we were not conquering your colonies," So-Young explained gently. "We were protecting them." The holographic display showed human peacekeepers responding to emergency calls from alien settlements under attack by pirates and raiders. The supernatural combat abilities that had terrified the aliens were revealed as rescue workers using industrial equipment to save lives under dangerous conditions. This footage shows Sergeant Mina Kim's security team defending Titan Colony from raiders 6 months ago, So-Young continued. "The beings your people saw as demons were actually trying to protect alien civilians." Admiral Veltar watched the corrected footage with growing amazement. The humans were not attacking the settlements, but responding to distress calls from alien colonists who were being robbed and murdered by criminals. "Your powered armor suits," Veltar said slowly. "They are not military technology. Industrial safety equipment," Kim confirmed. "Designed to protect workers in dangerous environments. We use them for construction and emergency rescue operations." Communications specialist Min Seo Park played back recordings of human emergency communications during the incidents shown in the alien footage. The translated voices revealed rescue coordinators organizing medical evacuations and humanitarian aid deliveries. "We thought you were afraid of something that was attacking you," Min Seo explained in her limited alien language skills. "We never realized that you were afraid of us." The revelation hit Admiral Veltar like a physical blow. His entire species had prepared for war against beings who had been trying to help them. The demons from their nightmares were actually heroes, whose only crime was looking frightening while doing good deeds. "Admiral, I am receiving urgent communications from both fleet commanders," reported Tactical Officer Nick Sarah. "They are demanding immediate engagement authorization." Veltar looked through the observation windows at the massive fleets facing each other across the darkness of space. Thousands of ships carrying millions of personnel were preparing to fight a war that should never happen. "Captain Kim, how do we stop this?" Veltar asked desperately. "Both our governments believe the other side attacked first." Kim activated his own communication equipment to show Veltar the reports reaching human territory. Earth Command had received word that alien forces had ambushed a peaceful colony convoy without provocation. "Our people think your fleet tried to massacre civilian families," Kim explained. "They are coming here to protect human settlements from alien aggression." The two commanders realized they were trapped by the momentum of their own civilizations, fear and anger. Even if they could prove the whole conflict was based on misunderstandings, too many people now believed the war was necessary for survival. "Sir, both fleets are moving into attack positions," reported Kixanon urgently. "Weapons are being charged and targeting systems are active." Through the observation windows, they could see the human and alien fleets arranging themselves for battle. The space between the two forces crackled with targeting beams and sensor scans as both sides prepared for what they believed would be a fight to the death. Dr. So-Young Lee made a desperate suggestion. "What if we broadcast joint communications to both fleets simultaneously? If we can show them the truth about what happened, maybe we can prevent the shooting from starting." "The translation problems remain severe," Min Seo warned. "Any message could be misinterpreted as psychological warfare or deception." Admiral Veltar made the hardest decision of his military career. "We have to try. The alternative is genocide for both our species." Working together, the human and alien communication teams prepared a joint broadcast that would go out on all frequencies to both fleets. The message would include the corrected footage showing human humanitarian activities, along with testimony from both commanders about the tragic misunderstanding. "Admiral, incoming priority transmission from Fleet Command," Nixara reported. "You are ordered to engage the human fleet immediately, or be relieved of command." "Captain, I am receiving similar orders from Earth Command," Min Seo added grimly. "Admiral Chen, has authorization to open fire if we do not respond. Both fleet commanders were being ordered to attack by superiors who refused to believe that their greatest enemies might actually be their newest friends. The fear and hatred generated by the misunderstanding had taken on a life of its own. Broadcasting. "Joint message now," reported the combined communication team. The transmission went out simultaneously to both fleets, carrying the desperate plea of two commanders who had discovered the truth too late. Captain Kim and Admiral Veltar spoke together, explaining how fear and miscommunication had brought their civilizations to the brink of mutual destruction. For a moment, space fell silent as both fleets received the unprecedented joint communication. Then the responses began flooding back from both sides. Most dismissed the message as enemy propaganda or psychological warfare designed to weaken their resolve. "Sir, multiple ships are reporting that you have been compromised by human mind control technology," Kixanen reported sadly. "Fleet Command is ordering your immediate replacement. Admiral Chen is demanding our immediate return, or he will classify us as enemy collaborators," Minseo added with equal despair. The moment of truth had arrived as hundreds of warships on both sides began final targeting sequences. The largest battle in galactic history was about to begin, unless something miraculous happened in the next few minutes. Captain Kim looked at Admiral Veltar and saw his own determination reflected in the aliens' expression. They had failed to prevent the war, but they would not give up trying to minimize its devastation. "Admiral, regardless of what happens next, I want you to know that humanity considers your people friends," Kim said formally. "We regret that our first meeting had to occur under these circumstances. Captain, your species has shown more courage and compassion than any we have encountered," Veltar replied with equal formality. "Whatever the outcome, we will remember that humans are not demons but heroes.